Hi, we're Mel and Missy, respectfully a clinical mental health therapist and Fear Fighter life coach. But it goes beyond that. We are representatives of you.
Trashed It is a brand that helps women focus on their next level of freedom by getting rid of the emotional garbage in their lives, whether it's toxic relationships, thought patterns, stigmas, etc.
We represent mothers and single mothers, daughters, wives, and divorcees, business professionals, entrepreneurs, and even Christians and ministers of the gospel.
We're trashing it all.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trashed It. We are officially in April. I'm your girl Mel.
I'm Missy.
So, like I said, we are in April. Missy, how you feeling about April?
Very fast. That's all I can say. Like, I didn't even realize next week is Easter. Like, yeah.
You know what? Neither did I. I felt so bad because I'm like, oh wait, so next weekend is Easter, so that means Friday is Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, 2022 has been a blur already.
It really has. It really has.
It's been a blur. So how you been?
I've been good. Busy, but I've been well. How you been?
Had a few, I would say, medical issues, health related issues, but definitely hopeful that it's just a moment and won't be something that is ongoing. So several doctor's appointments and things to do within the next few weeks. Yeah, I guess this thing called aging is catching up to me, and I think maybe okay, wait, hold on, roll that back, because you didn't have to look at me like that.
You got to embrace it.
I thought I had embraced it. Maybe I haven't.
Yeah.
Maybe I somehow thought I was exempt. I don't know. Either way, life is showing me, and my body is clearly indicating that I am not exempt. So
exactly.
Yeah. Now, on to, I don't have an opinion. I'm just saying. Do you have anything? Do you have anything?
I do. And I'm sure we'll probably maybe even talk about this on an episode. So last night and it was late. I think it was the encore that I watched, but Marry Me.
Really? I've never watched that.
I think it's new.
Your faces take me out every time. Okay. So
Riley does that. That's how I felt. So it is a show where women propose to their mates.
That would be a good topic.
Very unconventional, but very interesting as well.
I can imagine.
Like, it was very, very unconventional in the fact I'm like, wow, maybe Trash It could talk about this. You know, for the simple fact it's unconventional. However, you've been with this person for 7 years, and so now you're ready, and he's just, like, really?
Your face,
like, you have whole babies and life issues and bills and stuff, and you've been together for 7 years, and he's still saying he needs time and needs to save money. Like, yeah. And I guess just as women, again, I'm not that chick to and you know this, I'm not that chick to hate on anyone's love, but at the same time, like 7 years, and we have kids. 7 years is a long time, and we have kids, and we have life household bills together. And I guess my thing is, and you think that marrying the individual is going to be okay. And then also, I also saw where I think it's more about the wedding than being married.
Okay.
And I think that's the big concern for me. Well, yeah, the dress is cute, the hair is cute, the face is beat, The cake is gorgeous. The
Mhm.
DJ's on point. But what happens in 5.2 seconds after you say I do? When everybody leaves, right?
Right. I
And
get
it's
it.
that part.
I
So,
get it.
so you have the person, the host of the show,
Mhm.
coaching the individual, like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? I mean, you're gambling with like your feelings and being very vulnerable on national television
Mhm.
because there's a 50-50 chance of yay or 50-50 chance of nay.
Oh wow. Well,
And yeah. And so I'm watching it and my heart is racing like, oh gosh, like I can't get involved. I can't get emotionally attached to these
mhm.
individuals, but you also can't turn from it because you're like, why are you doing this? And what are you going to do if that individual says no?
Right. Right. I get it. I think that's definitely a topic we should add.
We should. And I think they're filmed right. I think they're filmed in the ATL.
Really?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know honestly when
I won't be on it.
oh gosh. There are several shows that they have been asking for contestants and participants on, and I have truly thought about putting your name in the hat. So
Ah,
don't be surprised if you get a call one
I
day.
know it won't be for that one.
Well, there's like the Bachelorette. There are all types.
Well, it won't be ready for love.
Hey, you never know. You never
Hey, I'm
know.
too old for the show, I'm sure.
Whatever.
And this season is just, oh gosh, like now red flags. I'm like, there is this episode of Ready for Love or Ready to Love, whatever the name of the show is. There's some red flags, like DV red flags, like
Oh really? Oh really?
mm-hmm. What we
Hmm.
fail to realize that an abusive boyfriend cannot be a great husband. Let's just put that out there. I've
Ooh,
been there,
ooh,
and
that's good.
yeah, it can't.
Okay,
They
so
can't.
so all
I'm
right.
sorry.
Okay, so this is absolutely a topic for a later show, right?
Mhm.
Because obviously it is a burden to you. I can see it's like
Like
you are bubbling over about this.
because they have like there are red flags, and I'm like, oh, I've been there. Like, chick, no, don't do it. But again, it's not. But it's because I finally identify and see what those flag on the plays are, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
you don't want to make those mistakes.
Right.
And then I think when you see another woman do it, you're like, oh, sis, no. Like, like you're the referee on the court. Flag on the play, flag on the play. So it was quite interesting to see these dating shows. But again, the new season of Ready to Love is very, very red flaggish. Like
Hmm.
real talk. Like these brothers yeah.
Hmm. I think
Hmm.
I need to check it out so that
You
we
need
can
to check it out. But we also need to know,
dialogue on this.
i.e., again, disclaimer, an abusive boyfriend cannot be a great husband
And
because
abuse.
all he's going to be is an abusive husband.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the part as women, and especially women of color, because we have this tendency of, I want to be his woman. I want to save him and
Mhm.
rescue him and be all things to him. Girl, boo, why are you getting your head knocked off? And I can say that like that because that I was that chick.
Yeah.
You can't change him.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
very passionate about that. You got to know who you are first
Right.
and love
Right.
you
Yeah.
before having a warm body or a piece
Mhm.
of behind next to your bed. And I'm within the FCC guidelines. I didn't say the other word. Thanks.
So,
Yeah.
look, like great way to segue then into um our April topics. So,
Uh-huh.
as you can see, we're still a little off on our scheduling of when the
Because of
podcast.
life. That's okay.
Yeah.
But can I say something?
Go ahead.
Because I love you dearly. We're going to give ourselves permission to realize that, you know what? Life happens.
Absolutely. Life has been
Because
life.
I love you. But as my grandma say, I'm not 2 inches off of you either.
Yeah, life has really been life in me.
It has. And that's okay. We're going to give ourselves permission.
Right.
We
Right.
might be behind. We might be behind, but we're not lost, and that's okay.
Come through. Come through. Come
Yes,
through.
come
Come
through self help and
through.
self development.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So
Okay,
moving on to our topic for today. And if you can tell, I am real comfortable on my couch
I
today.
know you look cute
Right.
too.
Thanks, girl. Thanks. Thanks. So for April, we had decided that we were going to kind of do like this series, right?
Hmm.
And so, Missy, what are we trashing today? And matter of fact, what are we trashing for the rest of this month?
Wow. So of course, trashing. Knowing when to move in silent, knowing when to, whether that's relationships,
Mhm.
business, knowing when to fold them and knowing when to hold them and when
Right.
to
Walk away.
walk away and
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
when to run because you
Right.
gotta.
Count your money. Is that
Are you
it?
sitting at the table?
So we are talking all things making moves in business and relationships
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the month of April.
Yeah.
And so today I think we're concentrating on on knowing when to hold them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just background. So Kenny Rogers was before my time, just a little bit. And so I didn't really grow up on the song.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you mention like knowing when to hold them and fold them, I'm like, oh yeah, I know the quote,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back and looked up the lyrics, right? So per me, give a
Mm-hmm.
little background here. So Kenny Rogers came out with this song in 1978 called "The Gambler," right? And so the famous lines are, um, "If you're gonna play the game, you gotta learn to play it right.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them, you gotta know when to walk away, and you gotta know when to run," right? So in talking about knowing when to hold them, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to, let's start with business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know we're doing business and relationships, but if we're talking about knowing when to hold them,
Mm-hmm.
like what does that even mean to you?
I think in business, knowing when to keep the information to yourself, like
Hmm.
working on it in private
Okay.
and just getting all of your ducks in the row within your control, right? That you
Hmm.
can. And I
Hmm.
think we saw that for the past 2 years now that businesses, I mean, were birthed during the pandemic.
Hmm.
But I think knowing when to just keep your mouth quiet about some stuff because some things is not for everybody at that particular time.
Hmm.
And I
I,
think maybe even keeping it in here with you. I think prime example for trash shit, we really didn't
yeah.
announce too much until we had like our launch.
Hmm. Hmm.
We were doing the backdoor, that backdoor type research and up all night and emailing and texting and having Zooms
Right.
that were because again, it was the bigger picture. And
Hmm.
there's still a bigger picture with Trashed It.
Right.
We're still in the formation we're still like in the infancy stage of it, right?
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. So I think you're basically saying knowing when to be silent, knowing when
Mm-hmm.
to move silently,
Exactly.
right?
It's
And
not
I
for
think,
everybody just yet.
hmm
That
yeah,
part. And I think we get so caught up on the results of what we're working on that it's the process that we all have had that we struggle with.
hmm
I really do.
yeah. So I know one of the when I was really looking into the song "The Gambler"
Hmm.
and just kind of like what it was talking about. One of the things that it was saying as it relates to Hold'em was basically like knowing when to stick with it. Because sometimes things can be hard, even in business and relationships. It can be hard, but knowing when to stick with it, knowing when it's worth it, even if it's challenging. Right. And so when I think about the term, the gambler, I when we look at life,
life is a gamble itself.
Life is a gamble. Exactly. Life is a gamble. And everything we do in life, we're taking this gamble. We are gambling with the hope of a great return. Right. So even and no matter what it is, there are risks involved and there are rewards involved. And so when it comes to business, and knowing when to actually hold on to something, I think there is this challenge of like, okay, are the rewards gonna be worth the risk I'm taking?
Absolutely.
Like, is it going to be are all the nights I'm up in the middle of the night, or taking a new job, right, per se, will it be worth the risk of leaving what I know, the risk of leaving this place of comfort, this place of complacency, this place of normalcy? Will the risk of going and walking through this door, and in which I don't really know what's on the other side,
Exactly.
will it pay off? And knowing when it's worth it.
And especially if the job, excuse me, is a great job, is a good job with a great salary and benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very hard.
Yeah.
But you lose something. I think a lot of times if you're not happy, you lose something if you stay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
But if you leave, you gain something.
Right. But
That
how
you can't
do
buy.
you but here's the thing, right? Because in knowing how to hold them, that means somewhere along the way we've assessed the risk and have determined, all right, this is a gamble I want to take. So how do you even assess the risk to determine? And again, we're still talking about business, right? So how do we assess in business when it's worth holding on to? When it's worth taking the risk?
I think
Taking trash, for example. How do you personally think you determine that taking this risk with me of your time, your finances, your platform, like all the things, how did you determine the risk would be worth the reward that you can't see, right? Because that's
yeah. I think that's where the trust comes in at. You have to know, and again, we're talking about business. You have to know your partner, and you have to have a level of trust with that partner. And I think both of us being on the same page. And I think there were times that we were in the same book, different chapter. I was trying to catch up because, and it goes, if I can even take it a step further, last week, we had tech issues, but you are more of the you are more of the know all be all when it comes to some of the tech stuff. No, I think so. That's your strong suit. I mean, when you talk about the streaming and different things like that, for myself, I know where I fit in at. I think we talked about it before, the organization skills, the communication part, and then where you are all things, the techie side of it. So we have that balance
Right.
with one another.
Right.
And I think when it comes to knowing when to hold them, I think that's where a holding pattern comes in at. Because as much as it was maybe bothering both of us, like, that's her strength. Well, this is my weakness, or this is her weakness, and this is my strength. We did not fold. We did not fold in. We didn't throw in the towel. We didn't give up. Because I think we live in a society where if we can't have it now, if it's not coming now, like,
Right.
you know what? It's a wrap. I'm done. I can't deal with it. I want to have X amount of followers, but we don't want to put in the work.
Right. Right.
Like you and I are both believers, and we know God is able. However, it's the part of the work that we have to realize that we got to put in to see the reward of what it is that He's going to do. It's already there.
Right.
But we got to work for it. And I think that's the part where, I hope I'm not getting ahead of our next topic on this matter. That's where that folding comes in at.
Right.
Like, man, it's a wrap. Like, deuces, I'm out. Kick rocks backwards, right? Whether it's business, relationship, anything. Wait, even with ourselves.
I agree. I absolutely think that I think for me, when it comes to determining whether or not the business, right? And I think I look at not just Trashed It, I look at Matter of Focus. I look at both entities, and I think I think I tend to let the data show, especially like say with Matter of Focus, right? I've used the data to determine, like, okay, is there really a need for this business? Does it have sustainability? Am I good at this? Right? Is it not just something that
excuse me,
I haphazardly think like, ooh, this would be a great idea, and I could think that owning a cake baking company is great and not have one baking skill.
Exactly.
Where in this instance, it's not just I'm looking at it and like, ooh, I desire to have this private practice, right? Where we're all things mental health and emotional wellness. But I Google me. Like I got the credentials to do said work, and the reputation that says I do said
It
work
comes with it, absolutely.
well, right? I think when it comes to Trashed It, it was a little bit different for me because I initially looked at things such as podcast, being on the radio, those things as, ooh, this is something I would really like to do. But
This is different.
but I don't think I'm necessarily gifted in that way, right? And so I think for me, when it came to risk and rewards and knowing that Trashed It was something that was worth it, was when there was a merge, right? Like there was a merge in who I am in life with Matter of Focus, with being a Christian, with being a preacher. And it aligned with my friend, with all the things that we have in common, and then where we are in life.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, okay, the platform makes sense now. So it's not this haphazard idea of, ooh, I want a podcast, or ooh, I want to be on the radio. But the rhyme and reason makes sense.
Yeah.
And so even when it comes to when we do say like live events, right? And we include, say, the Rage Room.
Yeah.
I think when I'm sometimes looking at the risk and I'm thinking of time, logistics, travel,
And that's where we are so different.
all the things, I'm like, man, I don't really know. But then I'm always able to see the reward
Mm-hmm.
when we're watching women who are in tears or who are hugging and high-fiving
Mm-hmm.
and clapping.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just
Mm-hmm.
this feeling of
It was worth it.
yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this works. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that it's not just it was a good idea in our head,
Mm-hmm.
but it is something that is meeting a need of
That part.
people,
That
right?
part.
And so I think I go back to understanding the risk and the rewards
Mm-hmm.
of this thing called life.
And and I don't mean to cut you off, but it just hit me when you talked about the risk. And I appreciate you saying that because I think a lot of times we have to change our mindset that risk does not always equate to money.
Mm, mm,
And investing doesn't always equate to money as well.
right, right,
And I think when we change our mindset about those two words, really three, and money, you're gonna it's gonna be different and better. Because I mean, if people knew the backstory about Trash It,
hmm,
of a lot of things that had to take place before we just came to this part, it was a lot. It was a lot of the apprehension of, I don't know what this is going to look like, but it's going to take this. And the this that we're talking about is the moolah, the dinero, the coins, the long dollar bills,
yes,
yo,
ma'am.
right? But guess what? We didn't let it stop us.
Right,
And I think it's that part because we know the, it's not the, we know the platform, but we know the mission and the objective behind it.
right, right.
And we're seasoned too, so we're not, and it's great that you're seeing so many, 20-year-olds starting business. But I think the difference between, I told somebody this before, the difference between a 20-year-old starting a business or someone in their 20s starting a business compared to someone that's seasoned like you and I, as far as life is concerned, as far as ups and downs, is that we'll stay the long haul. That generation, they're just like JG Wentworth. It's mine and I want it now.
I'm walking away right now.
Exactly, because I don't have 422,000 followers and 1.94K or million shares. No.
Right.
But it's the like, I'm proud of myself. You and I have had conversations like, yo,
Mhm.
I'm showing up. I'm
Oh, yes,
rebranding
ma'am.
myself as my coaching business is concerned, but I'm showing up consistently. And so it's that part, I do believe, of the hold it that we have to truly understand. And I hope that makes sense because I almost felt like it almost taking me into the folded part. But I think we're covering all things business. And so you have a platform of two women talking about business that also incorporates relationships.
Yeah, I agree. And so I guess kind of segueing into that, right?
Mhm.
How do you know how do you know when to hold them in a relationship when the relationship gets rocky?
When
How
it
do
gets
you know?
rocky,
Yeah, like because again, think about it.
uh-huh.
In this gamble of life, in
Mm-hmm.
the gamble of just living, learning, loving, putting
Mm-hmm.
ourselves out there, allowing people to be in our inner circles, in
Mm-hmm.
our inner space, right?
Yeah.
How do you know when to hold them
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, even when you're not sure of the risk versus the reward?
Mm-hmm.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
In my in my former life, I would have said this, that that's your answer right there. but because of growth, right? But no, because of growth, I said this to you before in conversations, just in my own personal dealings with a relationship that went south, that I just knew it was going to be, you know, cotton candy and unicorns and flowers and roses until the rapture. However, it did not turn out that way. We have to stop looking at potential as a possibility.
Okay.
I'm too old for potential.
So then that means you're not gonna hold them.
No.
Oh God, I cannot with you. So okay, all right, okay, I get it. So are you saying that at this phase of life for you, holding a relationship is not worth it to you if you can't immediately determine the risk or the reward?
Girl, I took too many risks. Cashing out. I've took too many risks, and it cost me. It cost me dearly. And like, yo, it cost me financially, emotionally, physically, mentally. It cost me. And so again, you and I, we joke about this, and I'd be like, yo, Mel, I'm probably not the one to talk about it. But I think that's where healing comes in it, right?
Yeah.
It's not dogging the next person or the person, and it's not putting your business out on Front Street. I mean, it's the truth of the matter. We've talked about how trash it came about, and it's been a blessing. But I will be lying to you, telling you that, would I stay? There's been times that I have, but shoot, at what cost? If I'm not going to see a return on me staying, exit left.
Okay, but let's be clear.
Uh-huh.
You're talking about romantic relationships, right?
Yeah.
Or do you mean like just relationships in general?
Well, you know what? Now I'm talking about romantic relationships.
Okay.
So you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I ain't gonna do it no more. Until the Lord himself one day will send me somebody. And I told you, when you call, you'll be on airplane mode. I'll be on airplane mode.
Right.
Girl, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? I think when it comes to friendships, it's this, and sometimes you either do this or you do this. And I think it just depends, that part.
Right.
I think it depends. And you said it before, probably in a couple of weeks ago, that we have to have those conversations.
Right.
And if you don't have those conversations, then I think that's when it goes
from a hold 'em to
like we really walking away.
Yeah.
And we're not even running. We just like, hey, take care. Peace and peace and blessings type deal.
Right.
And I think as women, because we are emotional creatures, like we have been, our DNA is to be a nurturer and to be an encourager. And we are emotionally like,
Yeah. And I think sometimes that gets us, right? So, because honestly, when I said knowing when to hold them with a relationship, in thought, I really meant, like friendships, right? I wasn't even thinking about romantic relationships. However, as you would say, when it comes to those romantic relationships, man, oh my God.
That goes back to I don't have an opinion. I'm just saying, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm not gonna be with you for 7 years. And we have we have 3 whole kids together, and we're living together, and we're doing life together, bills, paying the water bill, paying the electric bill, picking up kids, making meal plans. And I don't have your last name. Oh, nah, bruh.
Right. Now, so I think that would be a situation in which holding them.
Oh, we held too long.
Right. So like the risk versus the reward is just too far, too gone with that, right?
Yeah.
So look,
become too comfortable.
So another part of the song um, with the gambler says every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what to keep. Because
Absolutely.
every hand
Mm-hmm.
is a winner and
Mm-hmm.
every
Man is a
hand
loser.
is a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think as we wrap up this
Mm-hmm.
particular episode, I think it's important to really hone in on like, yo, there's no technique for life,
It's not.
right? Like I can go, okay, so to the Saints, I like to play blackjack.
You like to
Let me
play what?
I like to play blackjack.
Do
I
you?
I do. I do.
I don't know
Now,
how to
am I
play.
great at it? Nah, I'm not great at it. I'm still learning. However, comma,
Comma.
one of the rules and one of the things that people who kind of teach me as I'm going with how to play it is, there are certain rules the dealer has to stick with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in blackjack, the dealer has to hit at least 17
Okay.
so they can stop, hitting on their card. Now, if I have 14 or 15, I can choose to stay. I can choose to stand. I can choose to hold that hand with 15 because I know the dealer has to get at least 17. And so there's a great chance, probability wise, that the dealer will go over 17 and will
Mm-hmm.
bust, right? That's what they call it when you go over 21. There's also the chance that the dealer, um, there's also the chance that I think the dealer can uh, hit their card and
Uh-huh.
they can land somewhere between 17 and 21 and still beat me. So my chance of winning with staying on 15 is just as good as my chance of losing staying on 15. As with life, and so sometimes when we are thinking about knowing when to hold them when it comes to business and even relationships, it's all about feeling your way through it. That is that is I think what we want to end this with. That is that there is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
There are no absolutes in life. All of it is a gamble.
Mm.
When we choose to love, we take a gamble. I tell couples that all the time. Every day when you are in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
there is a choice to be made.
Mm-hmm.
There is a choice of loving a person. There is a choice in forgiving someone and walking
Oh,
in
yeah.
forgiveness. There's a choice every
Mhm.
single day.
Yep.
So we either choose to love or we
Mhm.
choose not to. But if we
Absolutely.
choose to love, then we take the gamble that there's a 50% chance it's going to work. There's a 50% chance that we're going to get our feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The same is true when you are in what you think is the perfect relationship.
Yeah.
In the perfect relationship, there's a 50% chance that it's going to be all gumdrops and lollipops, and there's a 50% chance that you're going to get your feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You will be heartbroken, you will be
Yeah.
disappointed. Same is true in business. When we take a gamble in business, it can work or it cannot work.
Yeah.
It could work for this season, but then will work for this season
Mhm.
completely flops in the
But
next season.
and it just hit me, Mel, when you talk about that with the seasons and playing the cards. I'm not a card player like that. But I love hearing the rules of the game. But you also know that after each game, your cards change. After each season,
It's a
it
reset.
changes.
It's a reset.
It's and that's it. And so, like, yeah, like mic drop on that, because that it's that part. Because
Right.
when you talked about a business, what works for this quarter and these years are good, but guess what? You can't keep doing the same thing
Right.
over and over and getting the same results and thinking that it's still going to grow.
Right.
Whether it's in people, in monetary, in your followers, in your platforms, in your invitations. You got to change.
Right. And you know what? I think that is a great segue and a great place to end as we kind of prep for the next episode, which is on knowing when to fold them. Right? Because when we fold, and that means we're going to retreat and we're going to regroup. And so, I think we've trashed this one.
Can I say something one more time?
What's up?
You good?
Sure, go forth.
I stated that tradition will get us in trouble. And the one area where tradition will get us in trouble are in our churches.
Bam. So like, okay, to me, this is that moment where the screens just go completely black. And like that would just be the show, like, right there.
Well, and I think, I mean, we talk about business and relationships, knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, knowing when to walk away. Like, there has to be growth.
Yeah.
And like, if we, if we gonna come hard, we got to come hard. Like, people are dying and going to hell because you still preaching the same message that worked back in 85, and we no longer in robes and marching down the aisle anymore.
With choreographed steps.
Huh?
I said with choreographed steps.
Exactly. And tradition will get us in trouble.
Right.
Like, you got to change.
Right.
That's like doing trashed it with the idea that women don't struggle.
Right.
That's a lie in its whole self.
Right.
I don't care what race you are.
Huh? Okay. So for those who are watching, for those who are listening, we need you to come back for the next episode.
Yeah. Tell your girlfriends, your mamas,
that is where
your grandmothers, your next door neighbor.
We're going to get into knowing when to fold them. Right? That's knowing when to regroup, knowing when these traditions that you've been holding are no longer necessary and are no longer valid. So that is it for this episode. Make sure that you are hitting that little like button, little subscribe button. We need you to set your reminders. We want you to be followers. We want you to be subscribers. We want to know that you're listening. Leave us your comments too. When you watch this episode, when you listen to this episode, leave us your comments, because chances are we will do a live at some point this month on this.
I feel it in my shana now for this next one.
I feel it in my spirit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm being truthful. And I think because T not only stands for trashed it, but it also stands for truth.
Right.
Like, this is a platform. You and I both love the Lord. We both are in the ministry, but we also have a passion of people getting becoming free. Right. So that's it. Mic drop. I yield. I'm gonna go off screen. Deuces.
All right. All right, y'all. So my co-host has left the building. But make sure you're tuning in. If you want to reach us on social media, you can follow us on either Facebook or Instagram at Trashed It or We Trashed It. If you want to reach out to us about a topic, email us at wetrashedit@gmail.com. All right. Until next time. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you interested in being a sponsor for the Trashed It podcast? If so, reach out to us via email at wetrashedit@gmail.com.